morning everybody, happy Tuesday. So today we're going to be looking at similes. So again, you're going to need similar of what you've had over the last couple of days, and we're going to be really building on our last part, our last features of our poems before we go on to write our shape poems this week. So similes are using words when you compare two words using like or as. So words that might not necessarily be the same, or you'd think that they're anything in common, but we can compare them. So for example, we can say the cat sleeps like a log. Now the cat isn't a log, so we wouldn't say that they're the same. However, when you think of a cat sleeping and when you think of a log, you could say that the cat sleeps like a log because the cat doesn't move like a log would not move. Similar, using the word as in this time, so the box is as light as a feather. Now if you were to pick a box up and a feather up, you would not say that they were the same object, you would not say they felt the same. However, if something is really light, you would refer to it being light as a feather because a feather is really light to pick up. So if you are saying the box is as light as a feather, it means that it's really light and you don't expect it to be that light. So this time I'd like you to use your different farm animals that you've been thinking over the last week, and I want you to think of some similes that you might use to describe the farm animals. Now in order to write similes, you would need to think of a movement. So you'd need to think of verbs to describe it, just like we did yesterday. So you can use the words that you did yesterday, or you can come up with some new verbs to describe the movement. So for example, if you're saying about cows sleeping, you want to describe how they are sleeping. So they're sleeping like a log. Or you might say that they are sleeping as quiet as a mouse. So you're trying to compare it. So looking at the animals, I'd like you to first of all think about the movements that you did yesterday. Now you can either do another spider diagram like you did yesterday to show the movements, or if you turn to yesterday's work, you will have already got all that work there ready to go. So you can see the different movements, whether they're eating, sleeping, jumping, playing, whatever they are doing, that movement, you need to have a look at that. So again, either use your own spider diagrams from yesterday, or you can produce your new spider diagrams today. So this is obviously what we did yesterday. I put my animal in the middle, I told you the different movements, I also used some more powerful verbs, so instead of saying drinking, I use the word slurping. So again, turn to this work, find this work, and then you can use that now. If you obviously didn't do that yesterday, it would be a good idea to have a go at doing this now so that you've got the word banks to use to build on today. So now I'd like you to think about the different animals that we used yesterday to come up with some different comparisons about comparing the movement that they do to something else. It could be you can compare the speed of which they move, how fast they are, how slow they are, how heavy or light they are in regards to their weight. It could be their personality. It could be as brave as a lion, as quiet as a mouse, how something feels, as happy as something, as sad as something. The colour, you could say it's as bright as sunshine, as black as coal. So on the next page, I've given you lots of different ideas that you might be able to use in your writing. So have a look at the next slide at some ideas of some different ways that we've used the similes, comparing them to speed, weight, personality, how something feels, and the colour of it as well. So here are some examples that I've used. So I've got things in regards to personality, so as cute as a kitten, as happy as a clam. I've got things linked to weight, so as light as a feather. I've got things linked to colour, so as bright as a button, as shiny as a new pin, as white as a ghost, as black as cold. Things about how something feels, so as cold as ice, as hard as nails, as cool as a cucumber. So here are some, obviously you might be able to use other ones with linked to like, but these are obviously all ones that have got as comparisons. So you might want to have a think of using some of these when you go to describe your movements of your animals. So now it's your turn to have a go at doing it. So I'm going to give you an example here of something that you might want to do, and then you can use that to see how I build up my sentences and see how you can also do the same. So here are some examples that I've done for you. I've started the sentence and I want to see if you can try and help me to finish it. So I've thought of two different animals. I'm using a sheep and I'm using a cow, and I've got two different actions. So my first one is I'm talking about cows gobbling their dinner. So if they are gobbling their dinner, how do you think they're going to be doing it? You could think about the speed. Okay, I've thought that if I'm gobbling, that means I'm eating it really quickly. So I might say cows gobble their dinner as, and I'm going to say as quick as a flash, like a flash of lightning. So I'm going to put as quick as a flash. So there's one sentence that I have wrote. So you can see that I've told you I've got my noun of my cow, I've got my verb, what it's doing, it's gobbling, it's dinner, so as quick as a flash, which is my simile, saying that it does something really quickly, as comparing it to a flash of lightning. So let's have a look at my next sentence. So I've got a sheep's soft coat is, so if you were to feel the coat of a sheep, what would you say? A sheep's soft coat is as, think about what word you could say. Okay, so I'm going to think of a sheep's coat, soft coat is as soft as something, or is as soft as wool. It could be is as white as snow. You could describe the colour of it as well. So see if you've got the same ones as me. So I'm going to describe, because I've already said his coat is soft, I'm now going to describe the colour. So is as white as snow, because snow is incredibly white. So you can see there I've got my verb of, my noun being my sheep. I'm saying about his coat. I've also got an adjective in there for soft. A sheep's soft coat is as white as snow. So you can see how I have now added in my simile. I'm comparing the coat being as white as snow. So I'd like you to have a go at doing it. You could pick your animal first and see if you can write me a sentence that follows on and includes a simile to describe it and compare it against something else. So remember, you can either say about if it's as heavy or as light as something. You could say about the colour, is it as white or as dark or as red or as blue as something. You could describe how it feels. Is it as soft as wool? Is it as hard as rock? What would you like to describe it as? Or you could describe it, the animals as doing something in a certain way. Are they brave? Are they shy? Are they quiet? Comparing that to another animal or a different object that also does the same. So have a really good go at this. I'd love to see your work on Seesaw, so please do put it on there, and I look forward to seeing it.